ago, the Biden administration announced a new initiative to give away 1 billion COVID self-test kits to American households for free. And indeed, after a relatively long delay, they are now starting to finally reach people's mailboxes. However, many people throughout the entire country, they were a little surprised when they opened their test kits only to learn that they were made in China. That's right, millions of test kits that the White House is sending out to American households throughout the entire country, they have the three beautiful words, made in China, emblazoned right there on the box. Now, the reason for this is that a rather sizable portion of these test kits are being sourced from a company called iHealth Labs. And even though it has that little I in front of it, similar to iPhone or iPod, iHealth has nothing to do with Apple. Instead, iHealth Labs is a California subsidiary of a Chinese company called Andon Health. And what exactly is that company? Well, Andon Health was established 27 years ago, back in 1995, in the Chinese megacity of Tianjin, where they are known as a producer of blood pressure monitors. However, times have been rather rough for them. In fact, Andon Health lost money for 7 consecutive years, right up until the pandemic. That was when they shifted their production to making COVID-related equipment, things like body temperature scanners, as well as at-home test kits. And driven largely by their sales right here in America, specifically their sales to government entities, Andon Health's stock price, it has soared by about 1,400% since November. And so that brings us right back to the discussion of these government contracts. According to government contract records, you can see them up on your screen right now, since December of last year, Andon Health has won contracts worth over $2.1 billion with both the U.S. federal government as well as several different states. Now, the overwhelming majority of this contract amount comes from this White House initiative. In fact, according to publicly available federal contract grants, Andon Health received roughly $1.8 billion from the Department of Defense in order to roll out the Biden administration's plan. That amount was awarded through 2 contracts. You can see them up on screen right there. One was awarded on January the 13th, and the other one on January 26th. And when you add them up, they ensured that over 354 million Chinese-made COVID tests were sent out to American homes, which, for your reference, it accounts for over a third of the test kits which were actually being sent out by the White House. It's also worth mentioning that besides this deal with the federal government, Andon Health has also contracted with many individual states to sell COVID tests as well. These states include New York, Massachusetts, California, Washington State, Louisiana, Maryland, Ohio, as well as Washington, D.C., meaning that whether you're getting a test kit from the federal government or you're getting it from your local state government, well, there's a good chance that it will ultimately be made in China. Now, while this is a rather stark example, to be frank, it is only the latest reminder of just how exactly dependent America has become on medical supplies that come from China. And some members of Congress are now calling for a reckoning. For instance, here's what Mr. Rob Whitman, he's a Republican congressman from West Virginia, and here's what he told us here at the Epoch Times. If we should have learned anything from this pandemic, it is that it's imperative to break U.S. dependence on Chinese medical and personal protective equipment supply chains. Now,